Hi you guys, it's Karina. So I am back with another video tutorial, and this time we're going to be talking about my template 40, which has been around for a pretty long time. She is the little sister of my template 6, but I needed something smaller when I created template 40. I needed template 6 a little bit smaller, so then I created this template. So it is a little bit similar. The only thing again is just sizing, that it's smaller, and you do get more petals with this template. So you do receive 10 petals with this template, and you can make flowers ranging between 4 to 14 inches, again depending on how you space, how many petals you use for your layers. But these flower styles that you see here are pretty much my go-to. Honestly, it's such a simple flower to work with. I think especially for beginners, it's an easy flower to create, perfect for backdrop, something super simple. Honestly, it's not that hard. So we're going to be creating some of these. All right, you guys. So these 3 styles are typically my go-to when working with template 40. This was the original style that I created when I was working with template 6 with a pretty simple center. When I first started making paper flowers, I needed templates that were easy, but that looked cute and that were not hard at all. So again, such an easy template to work with beginners. So we are going to be making this one right here with this little pom-pom to teach you how to make this pom-pom that requires no cutting machine, just 2 petals. You could add 3 layers or 4 layers. Like for example, this one is a 4-layer flower. So here are the layers, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now notice, by creasing the center of your petal is going to change the look of your flower. So that's always a nice little tip to do, or to share with you guys, that if you guys want, kind of flowers that look a little, using the same template but just give it a different look, just by creasing that center inside the petal is going to make a huge difference. Also adding a gem, that is my go-to as well, working with the smaller little kitties, just because I can add a quick little gem and voila, you are all done. So I am going to teach you guys how to make this style flower right here with the 2 layers and the crease and then the pom-pom center. Super simple. And then again, if you want to add more layers, you definitely can. If you don't want to crease it, then it's going to look something like this. Now this is what template 40 looks like when you get it. So she is available in SVG along with PDF. So SVG are for cutting machines. So if you have the Cricut or Design Space, you can use your cutting machine to cut out the petals. Personally, I do both. I do hand cutting with this template and cutting machine. Mostly the smaller cuties, I like to use my cutting machine just because they are, it is the smallest, it's pretty tiny, that I do like to use my cutting machine for that. But for the bigger ones, I do the basic trace and cut, and that's where the PDF can come in handy. The PDF is just going to be the petals traced onto paper. You're going to print it out onto cardstock, cut it out, and that's going to be your own hard copy template that you are going to use to trace and cut. Now paper, I am going to be using Banana Split from Cards and Pockets. So it is like a light yellow. Now, one of the things that I wanted to share with you that I've realized that I don't think I've ever shared with you guys is when it comes to the creasing, what side of the paper you want to look for. Meaning, if you mess around with your paper, give it a feel. So let me move these out of the way. Here. So see, when I fold it like this, I can tell right away that the folding doesn't require much. But when I'm folding it like this, I can feel a little bit of tension. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to trace a petal, one this way and one this way, and I'm going to crease it, and I'm going to show you the difference. Okay, you guys, so I went ahead and traced my petals, one vertical, one horizontal. I just want to share with you because, I've had a few messages here and there where clients ask me how to prevent creasing on their petals, like when it comes to curling, or when it comes to kind of doing that crease line in the center. Sometimes it can crease. And personally, I do not like it when the cardstock look creased when you have curled something or when you have scored it. I just personally don't like that. And throughout the years, what I've noticed is that paper just bends different ways, and I can tell now that if I fold it this way, I already know the crease line is not going to show a crease. Oh gosh, I don't know if that makes sense. Let me show you. Okay, so here are my 2 petals, and we're going to be creasing these in the center. So this is the one that when I was folding the paper, I could tell that one way was easier to bend. Okay, and there's my crease line. Now, this petal is the one when I bent it, I could tell that it was more rougher. Can you see that already when I was creasing how it's making? Can you guys see that, the crease line, and how you can tell that it's kind of wrinkly? It was more rougher for me to fold it. Now let me show you the difference side to side. Do you see how the crease line here is a lot more smoother? Here you can kind of see that it didn't fold as nicely and it creased a little bit more up here. I also wanted to share the curling part because that also depends. If you're noticing that when you are curling your petal and you're seeing this crease line, that is because you are on the you're using the wrong side of tracing your paper. It's gonna leave the creasing. Whereas if I were to do this side over here, it is a lot more smoother. I don't know, it's just weird. I always thought, you know, both sides, you know, either vertical or horizontal, whatever way I decide to trace the paper, I'm not gonna have any issues. And that is not the case, you guys. It definitely also depends which way you are tracing or even cutting on the Cricut or Silhouette machine. The way you place your paper, if you're doing vertical or horizontal, will also factor in how well your paper is going to curl or crease. I mean, again, you can clearly see the difference between the way that I trace one way and the other. It makes a huge difference. So that is a tip that I just wanted to share with you guys, because I think as beginners, again, when I first started, a lot of my flowers were creased. I'm not going to lie to you. And I didn't know that, oh, well, maybe just flipping it the other way, it was going to help. And that I learned throughout the years. Okay, so I just wanted to share that tip with you guys. So if you ever notice that, why is my curling just not turning out right, that is why. Okay, you guys, so now back to the flower. So this is the style that we're going to be making. So I am using the 5th and 6th petal, going from smallest to largest, and then just prepping, you are just going to crease in the center. So just remember that tip that I shared with you guys. Try to feel your cardstock, which way bends easier is the side that you want to trace. So that way you know that your crease line is going to crease nicely and smoothly, okay? So now we're gonna cut in the center, and you're just gonna add a small little dot of glue, and you're gonna cross this one over and glue, okay? I'm gonna move that out of the way. So you are going to start with your largest, and we are going to go around in this circle, adding a very small dot of glue so we can place, just in case if we need to readjust a petal, it's not going to hurt the petal, like tear it. And our goal here is just to go around in a circle. Okay, so perfect example. That circle is not looking like a circle. So that means I need to readjust this first petal. So I am going to lift it up slightly. Okay, so as you can see, the petal has not been severely damaged. And we are just going to re-glue her And I'm going to readjust this one too. Oh, actually this one, it didn't hold well. See? Let me hold that a couple of seconds. So as you can see, I don't always get it right the first time, you guys. Yeah, all right, so there you go. My flower is done, the first layer. Get the same color cardstock. So I'm gonna get a scrap piece of paper and I am going to cut a circle. And just by the way, the other flower that I shared with you, like the other flower styles, you're gonna do basically the same thing. So if you're gonna do a 6 petals instead of 5, your goal is just to go around in a circle. Then we're just gonna cover up that circle because we don't want that. So then you're gonna get your next layer. So we're only doing a 2-layer petal. You can do 3, 4, 5, however, how many you need. I am going to only add glue. So facing me, this is my left, so I'm not adding glue to the right because we're gonna tuck that last one in. And we're just gonna go in between. Okay, last petal. I am going to tuck her in. So as you can see, I tucked that petal in there. So now I'm going to make sure that now I add glue. I'm gonna press down and glue that other side of that first petal. And voila, there you go. So as you can see, such a simple flower to create, and it's so adorable. So now from here, you can do whatever you wish center wise. I am going to show you how to make this center in case you want to make this center. Such a simple, it's just like a little bud, or the classic pom-pom. Typically the pom-pom is my go-to, but I'm going to share you both. However, so that way you can decide which one you want to use. Also, you can use Cricut Design Space Silhouette, maybe pick out any other center from there that you would like to pick, or maybe if you find yourself a large gem. I don't have a large gem necessarily for this one. Maybe if I would have added a 3rd and a 4th layer, because then the flower would have been coming in more, then I would have had a smaller space, then a center would work. But because this is more of an open space, I need a larger center. So let me go ahead and get a different color because I want something to contrast with this yellow. Okay, you guys, so I have an 8.5 by 11 cardstock sheet here. This is from Michael's as well. So I'm going to show you how to make the pom-pom first. So you are going to fold your paper. In half. Cut in the center. Okay, you're gonna fold it again. Pom-poms are so easy to make. Now, if I want a fuller pom-pom, like this purple flower, I did use 4 strips. So I pretty much used the whole 8.5 by 11 because I did cut it in 4ths. But because this is on the smaller side compared to that purple one, I'm only going to use 2. So you could, the more you add, the fuller that pom-pom is going to look. So now I'm going to gather both sheets together and I am going to fringe. Now I do know that Cricut Design Space does have an image. I don't remember the name of the image, but they do have an image where you can, they have a pom-pom as well. So if you don't want to cut, because it can get tiring when you start cutting a lot of these. I do know that Design Space does have an image similar to this. And up to you if you want your strips thinner, wider. I just cut. So some are wider than others. That's okay. Just make sure you're not going all the way up because we don't want to cut the strip off. Okay. So now I have my two. So now I am going to start from the end of one, and I am going to roll. And while I'm rolling, I'm kind of topping it to kind of go down, because I want to make sure that this is kind of flat on the bottom. So now I'm going to add glue to secure. Sorry, received a phone call. And I am going to do the next one. And I am going to roll. And glue. So let me try this. So I only did two, which I think might be enough. And then you're just going to open these up. And then you're going to glue that in the center like that. Isn't that adorable? So yes, definitely two strips was enough. Again, if you want more of a fuller, then you would just fold this again. Then you would incorporate these two to make a fuller pom-pom. Now, let me show you how to make this little center here, which again is super simple. So we're actually going to use the remainder of the other half of the cardstock. So I am going to fold this in half. Going to cut in the center. So same thing with the pom-pom, the more of these you add, the wider it will become. So now we are going to fold these again in half. Okay, so there's one. And here's two. So now you're going to get your scissors. And we are going to pretty much fringe as well, but you're cutting where the crease is, okay? Not where it's open. And you're just going to cut. Now try not to go all the way up because you don't want to cut the strip. And just fringe like this. So let me go ahead and finish these two up. Okay, you guys, so I have my two strips here. So now I'm going to open them up and you're just gonna flip them inside out. Okay, reason for, I just feel like it gives it more volume with rolling. Because notice, I don't know if you can tell, but can you tell? See, this is flatter and this one's more puffier. So I just feel like it gives it more oomph. So that's why I do it. And then just turn it like that. Now, just like the other palm, we are going to roll this. Now, Cricut Design Space, the image that's very comparable to this would be the marigold image that I tend to use a lot, especially for my spiral centers. You just have to mess with the sizing. So there's the first one, and then get your second one. And roll. and then glue. So as you can see, voila. Now I think this might be too small for this one. I would definitely, well, I mean, it works, but typically I do add 4 strips. Okay, so I do 4 of them. So I use a whole 8.5 by 11. So the more that you use, the wider the center will become. But I just wanted to share the gist with you, kind of how you would create that center. And yeah, that is it, you guys. So I hope you found that helpful, and I hope you found that helpful as well with the paper tip about the creasing. I hope I explained it somewhat well, that you understood what I was trying to relate to you. So anyways, if you have any questions, either message me on Instagram, Ariel Elise Designs, my Etsy as well, Ariel Elise Designs, or my email, arielelisedesigns@gmail.com. Again, this is my template 40. You can find her on my Etsy shop. You will get the PDF and SVG both. And I will chat with you guys later. Bye.